Alright, hey guys, quick intro before we get started or whatever. I just wanted to say that, first off, sorry, I did record this around 3 o'clock in the morning, so sorry if I am a little quiet in the video itself. It is in the middle of the day now, so I could do this intro at 6 p.m. in the afternoon. Um, so yeah, sorry for being quiet, and also, my face cam is covering part of the breakpoints in the video. I did try and overlay a few screenshots and some more videos over it so you guys can see what I was seeing. It may not be exact, but I did try my best, and it should get the point across to like what it was. So again, sorry about that, and yeah. Also, I could have obviously Googled. I'm sure people discovered this as well. And I'm sure I would have found it much easier, but that defeats the point. So yes, I know I could have Googled and found the solution, but that defeats the point of trying to come up with it on your own. So yeah. Alrighty, a little random video here today. I was watching Wes Bos video. It was about web scraping with Twitters and Instagram, scraping them with Node.js. And Wes discovered a URL that Instagram uses to get the data, but it works when he's logged in, but not when he's logged out. Um, I already finished the video. He does go through and try to get it to work, and is unsuccessful. I just kind of wanted to go in and play around and see what the URL requires to use, and see if we can use it without going the method that Wes went. And in the video, if you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it. He just pulls it out of a script tag which contains the information. Um, yeah, it'd be fun to get the endpoint to work anyway. So this may be unsuccessful. This may work wonderful. Who knows? We'll find out and see how it goes. Um, so to start, we're gonna open my Instagram and we're gonna do it in incognito, just so I don't forget to blur anything out. To get the URL to show up, he went to a page that was linked from another page. So I went from his wife to his own. So I'm gonna just go from mine to Social Blade, and here it is. This is the URL. So if we go to this in a new tab, it shouldn't work. Okay, so it doesn't work. There's a few headers then, and he suspected that it was probably a header. So let's just copy as curl. We'll go ahead and paste it in our terminal, and it seems to work. We could use a nifty tool called Insomnia, which will make using things a lot easier. So let me open a new Insomnia window. Alright, so basically I just created a new thing. So if we paste, if we copy the curl, like we already have in our clipboard, we just copy as curl, we can paste it in this bar actually, and Insomnia will fill in all our headers and stuff. So now the route I think I'm going to take is one by one disable headers and see what breaks it. Alright, so user agent is probably going to be required, honestly, and go figure it's required. Except might not be. Okay, except we can get rid of. Except language, that can go too. The referral, that one might be required. Okay, that one seems good. I can get rid of that. Just get rid of this Instagram GSI. I'm gonna assume this one's required just because it looks like a token of some sort. It looks like probably an MD5 hash. Okay, that does look required. Our app ID might also be required. And it's not. Okay, out of here. This one, not required. Do not track is probably not. I'm just going to remove it. Keep alive, probably not required either. Okay. Cookies, that'll be a tricky one. Please don't be required. And it's not. Okay. And that's probably not required either. And it's not. Okay, so it looks like we need our user agent and our GIS token, whatever that is. So we need to figure out how to get a GIS token, and where it comes from, what it is, and all that jazz. So to start, we should probably view the page source, honestly, and just search for GIS. Okay, so we found that one. We found what is has multi-step region true, and this. Wait, what was the other one? We already saw that one. Okay, so just register. So it's probably going to have to be something to do with this. Not sure what the two things mean, but this looks like an MD5. Are these the same by any chance? No. Okay, so they're not the same. Okay, so our second option would probably be saying where this is used at. So let's let's open the JS files and see if we can find a reference to that. First, let's check this own file. No, that's the only reference one's in here. So let's check all these files, not in this file. Not in that one either. It is in this one, so let's keep that one open. Not in that one, probably get rid of that, and not in that one. Okay, so it's in customer common JS. This is of course minified, so we can't actually read what this is. So, okay, so what we can do is we can come on over to the debug tab. We can find this file, so metro customer commons JS. Customer commons JS, and that's our file. Yes, it is. Okay, what's the name of this? Okay, so it looks like it's setting it to a function. It's setting get this stuff to a function, and it looks like it's returning that or that. Okay, so let's pretty print this. This might lag. I don't know how long this file is. Okay, finally pretty printed. Sorry about that. Now we can go ahead and search for our function, which we find it right here. We'll go ahead and probably set a breakpoint here. The best solution would probably be to go back to another profile. So I'll go back to my own profile. That way it has to get called again. Okay, it looks like we have a break here. So it looks like is that the same? That looks like the same ID from here. Okay, so that is the GIS whatever token. And it looks like it's a bunch of data of some kind. What is that? It looks like it's a bunch of data. I'm not sure if we'll be able to use that. Let's go ahead and continue. Okay, not sure we'll be able to use that. Let's try to do the other method, not doing it through search. Let's try and go back to a profile that's linked from a profile, because that seems to work better. Okay, what's this call? It calls the same stuff here. Jump forward, and it still does the same thing. I wonder if it returns up here instead, and that's the problem. So instead of breaking there, let's break up here in the function itself. Let's go back to my profile. And, it doesn't actually seem to do anything. Okay, let's try it down here. Okay, let's go back to my profile. Okay, that one broke. Same stuff. No O this time. Oh, O is what we're in now. Okay, let's go back to Social Blade. Function. So we get something different this time. We get the ID and slash Social Blade. So that's a lot better than all the old data. And of course we saw from here that we recognize that this as an MD5. Just make this bigger. Yeah, this looks about 30. What's an MD5? 32 characters. So it's probably an MD5, yeah, because MD5s are also A to F. So I don't say the character is not A to F. So this is probably an MD5 of some sort. We could try and MD5 our two things. So we could try to MD5 that with modest Tim. DuckDuckGo will run the MD5 and give us a hashback. So we'll see if this works. So this probably won't work for Social Blade, but will it work for Modest Tim? Interesting. What about Modest Tim? Because the hash will obviously be different because capitalization matters. First, let's just make sure that it does matter. Okay. Now if we do that. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So in order to get the GIS token, it's an MD5 of the two parameters, or the two arguments from this get XHR signature. Interesting. So it looks like, because Instagram does have an unofficial graph API as well. So what's a good example of that? Yeah, the GraphQL API here. And this extra data here, I wonder if that is, does this contain user ID? It does. Okay, so it looks like it's either, So it looks like it's either the variables from this or the page path itself. Because this is the user ID and all that. So this is what we just saw. And then we also, before this, we saw it with the /name/. So if we continue, let's go to Wes Bos. Oops. Let's go to Wes Bos. So this should have broke. Okay, so it does do the hash, our original hash. Okay, so it's the same. Wes Bos. So we get this. Let's try it before we continue, just to see if this does work. So Wes Bos, run it, and we get his information. Let's continue, and we get Wes Bos's profile. Continue again, and we can load the GraphQL stuff, I assume, because it's all the GraphQL information. And that generates a signature and gets our GraphQL information. Awesome. Interesting. It's a fun way to do it. Remember, if there's a will, there's a way. I guess that begs to differ if this way is better than the way Wes goes about it. What he ends up doing, again, if you haven't watched the video, go watch it, is he utilizes, where is it? There's a bit of information in here. Yeah, is this it? Wait. Page ID. User interact count. I think he utilizes this LD JSON. So he's using Cheerio in Node, and he's getting the script in the type of LD JSON, and he's just parsing this as JSON. So theoretically that could work, although you'd have to wait for the entire page to load every request. So if you're doing it for yourself, it's probably more or less better to do it that way, because you'd have to load this page to get that, what's it called? The RHXGIS token anyway. So it's probably better to just do it his way. But it doesn't seem like this token changes that often. Throughout this entire thing, it hasn't changed once. So it begs to differ how long this probably lasts for. This might last a long time. This might change often. So what you could probably do if you're using a bunch of users is you could probably cache this number, and then when this when this hash stops working, you could just repull and get the new hash and then keep going using this unofficial API. I guess that bears to differ which is faster though. So let's create a new request. Just call it that because it's very original. And we'll just see the size and speed of this. So this is 71 kilobits. This is 41. So theoretically, it is faster would be faster to load that since it has to load it anyway. But yeah, ultimately, I'd probably say it's probably better to go the full page route if you're doing one user, and then if you're doing multiple users or updating it frequently, to go this route, just because of the speed. So screw it, let's actually write some code. So we'll use Go. So see GitHub Timothy Cole. We'll just create a new file called Wes test. CD Wes test. Open in code. Go ahead and just create a new main.go. Do package main func main. So if you don't know Go, this might be a little harder to follow along, might not. Wes did his in Node, so it's a little different. So to start, what we could do is we could just start by making an HTTP request to I wonder if Instagram.com itself has that token. What's the token called? Here it is. So it does. Does this page load quicker than a user profile? It's Insomnia. It is a lot smaller. Ooh, we're logged out, keep in mind. It's a good point to make. We are logged out, and it is a lot smaller than a user profile itself. So it's probably better to get the token from this page. What we'll do is we'll use this page. We'll just write a quick function in here. Make a request file. This isn't going to be the most efficient Go code, but it's just to get us going and playing around and testing things. I'm just going to call it request. We're going to take a URL with a string, and we'll just return a string. So we'll make a request. We'll just have an error. HTTP new request, which we'll just I didn't even type hey. We use get our URL, and we're not gonna have a post body. So we are going to, if error is not no, we can just panic with an error. Else we'll create our client, which will be a new http.client. Our results will be with our error. We'll do client.do our request. If you know Go, this is very familiar to you. And we'll check for that error again. Panic with our error. We'll take our body with another error. Very repetitive. We can use IOUtil to read the body of the response, which is a read closer. So again, if we can't read the body, we'll check if it's not a nil, and we'll panic with our error. And then if we can read the body, then we could just return the string body, because I believe this returns a byte. Alright, it does. Okay, so return the string. So right now we'll use, we'll create a variable, which will be our Instagram, and then we'll use, I keep hitting that. we'll use request, and then we'll just do https://instagram.com, and then we'll use fmt, and then we will print out the response. So if we do go build -o debug and debug, we get the response back from Instagram for the page itself. So what we could do here is we could do what Wes did, and so we could do modest stem, run it again, and we have all that information, but we also have our information, and we could get it from here, which would work just as well. But we're going to take it one step further and use that unofficial API we discovered. And so we'll go back to the root directory, or the root, just because it did load faster. What we could also do is, instead of parsing all of the HTML and the scripts and all that to find that token, what we could do is we could just, since it's just a string, we could just use regex. So we could use regexp .match. I believe we could use regexp.match. I believe this is the regex we want and the byte array we want. Right? Okay, so that determines whether it is or not. Let's go to godoc.com/regexp. Okay, so let's look for matches. Okay, so match string. What does this return? It returns a boolean, so if it is matched. We want to get what the response is, though. We don't care if it really matches or not. Compiles regular, so return success. Expanded, find just. Okay, so here, yeah, this is what we want. Okay, so must compile, if I believe correctly, will panic if it's not found. Okay, maybe not. Or maybe it just doesn't say. Anyway, we could use this, which we're not going to copy paste. We'll just type it out. So we could use regexp and then must compile. Since it is an MD5, we've already confirmed that by testing it. We could just match for an MD5, but we don't want just any MD5. We kind of want to use the key, which is here. So we'll actually just copy paste this in here, but here is where we want to put our regex. So I believe we could just match for an MD5 in here, which is A to F, O to 9, and then it's guaranteed to be 32. Okay. So we can use probably, they call it re. I don't like re. We'll call it matches. Although I'm not sure matches is the correct term either for this. What we'll do is we'll do matches.find. And then we'll do this. Can we do find string? We can. Okay. Let's see what this returns. Okay. I'm not sure I like that because it returns this stuff as well. I believe we could find a function that makes it even better. Okay, so they have a find all submatch. Let's see what that does. Okay, which takes a byte, which is fine. We could do byte. Okay, it also takes an integer. So we'll just use 0 because I'm not sure what the integer really needs. Okay, so that returns nothing. What if we do 1? Okay, that returns something. So it's an array of an array with a byte array. Okay, how many objects are in here? Just the inner one. Do they just have a find submatch? Find submatch. Okay, so it looks like they do have a find submatch, which doesn't take that. Okay, that's more of what we're looking for. So it looks like this is probably our key, or our regex, like the full thing, and then this is probably the result. Go ahead and we'll change it to re. Call it re. We'll set this to matches equals, and then we'll use this, but we'll set it to 1, and then we'll make it a string so we can actually read it. Okay, so that is what we want, I believe. Let me just double check. Wait, that's different. Is that okay though? Let's check. Let's see if this will still work. It doesn't look right. Let's go back here. That was still Wes Bos. Okay, so this is not correct. Ada F0 to A32. Interesting. What is this? Interesting. So it does look like it's the correct thing. I did copy paste it, right? Okay. It is Wes Bos. I wonder if the token on the login page doesn't work for what we're trying to do. Although this is the login page, and it is this. RHIS. Interesting. Because this is longer than 32 characters, right? It looks longer. Length. No, it is still 32. / Wes Bos. Oh, I wonder what it's an MD5 of. I wonder if it's an MD5 of the user agent. So the user agent has to match the hash. That'd be interesting. Okay, so let's do request.header.set user agent. Then let's set our user agent to our Firefox. Okay, let's rerun this. Ooh, so it's the same. So I want it, that's not gonna work there. It's the same as our browser here. So it does seem like it's an MD5 of our user agent. And that gives us back Wes Bos. That's fun. Okay, good to know. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna denominator type that there. I'm just gonna type user agent here. I'm just gonna create a const of user agent, which is gonna have our user agent. That way we could change it later if we wanted to. But it does appear to be an MD5 of our user agent. So odds are it doesn't change often because it's just an MD5 of our user agent. Actually, let's confirm that theory. MD5 Okay, so it's not just our user agent. There's probably something correlating with it, but it does seem to take in our user agent as an effect. So it probably has like, oh, browser user agent something. So it still probably doesn't change that often. Okay, so let's take our, so now that we know this is correct, let's set this as our, what's it called? Our variable here. And then we could just do, does this panic if it's not? For some reason I thought it did. We'll just do this. If the length of that is less than or equal to 0, then we will panic. Can this take a string? Does it have to be an error? I don't know. Could not get the, what's it called? RHX GSI. Okay. And then this is going to yell at us because we're not using it, so put it there. Okay, we're not supposed to use underscores in Go. So I'm just going to change that to camel case. Then we need to change it here. Okay, so this should still work. Correct. If we don't send a user agent, what happens? So if we send a blank user agent, will it still work? We do get a hashback. I don't know if it'll work, but we do get one. Okay, so we are able to get our token now. So what we'll do is we will move this actually to another function. I just want to know what it's called. Okay. .go. So in this function, what we would do is we'll call our package, of course. We'll make a function of GIS, which will return a string, which will be this here. So we'll just return this. Okay, so now in order to generate one, we could just call this as a function. Which, of course, we don't want to do every time we use one because it has to go and get it from Instagram. So what we'll do is, just at the beginning here, we'll just call, I keep forgetting what it's called, GIS. And we'll just set it here. Then we'll echo it out so it doesn't yell at us. So now what we should be able to do is we should be able to make a get users. So we'll do a get users.go. We'll do this, make a function called get user. We're going to rename this file to just user. Get user. We're going to take our username, which is a string, and we'll return a string. The string will be the JSON back. So what we could do is we can, what can we do? We could use the, is MD5 in, okay, MD5 is in the crypto package, okay. So what we could do is we can import our crypto MD5, then we can call MD5.new, which takes our hash. I believe we could do, the best way to do this? I would probably io.write write string, I believe. We could probably write to the hash with something. So we also want to send in the GIS. So we want to hash together. So we'll do a sprint f, which allows us to do a string and another string with a colon in the middle. So we'll actually do our slashes in here, because as we know, we have to have our slashes here. Actually, we haven't tested without slashes, so we'll see if that works without slashes. And it doesn't. Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think it would. I figured it'd be pretty strict about it. And that should work again, right? Correct. Okay. So what we could do is we could take our GIS and our username here. And then I'm going to call this GIS key, just because it's the key. Because this hash here, this is going to generate our GIS. So we'll do GIS, and then we'll call fmt sprint f. We will call, we'll do an x. We'll do h.sum. By h, I mean hash. And then I believe we could set it to nil since we wrote to the string. So this should give us, we'll just log it for the moment. I'm actually going to use fmt. We'll just return a blank string for the moment. Okay, so we need to call getUser. So we'll call our getUser with our GIS, and we'll call WesBos and modesttim. Just so we have two different names here. We'll rerun it. So we should have three. The first one is, oh no, the last one is our global GIS. Okay, so this one should work for WesBos. Let's just see. Okay, so it's the exact same as one we have in there. So we know that works. We'll use this one, which should be for modesttim. And it works perfect. Okay. So we don't need to print that out anymore. And close that file. So now that we have this, what we could do is, we should take and, should we take a GIS in here, which we don't need to define there. So if GIS does not equal that, then we could do require.header.set x Instagram GIS. Is that correct? Yes. With our GIS. So this is obviously gonna mess up in here. So in here, we'll just send nil. Actually, we can't because it's a string. So we'll just send a blank string. So we see it's blank, so we don't actually have this header. And then for in here, what we could do is we could, first off, we could just return our stuff. So we could do sprint f http. I'm too lazy to type the URL. So what we could do is we could take this, but we need to replace this with our username because it is case sensitive, we've seen. And then we need to take our new GIS. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do log.println and wrap those in that. So it should get Wes's information, then mine. I don't know how long it's going to be. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here. So I see follow for tips on React, so that's Wes. And then I should be in here somewhere. Just move. Okay, so I do see stuff from my pictures in here as well. I don't know where it starts or where it ends or or what. It's just a mess since I just did the both. But we have the information back. So actually, let's just run that again, just with one person. That way I can copy it all. Okay, so there's a cool thing in VS Code. You could paste code or paste JSON's code, and then I'm gonna just call it Instagram user, and it would give us all our structs and stuff for Go and all that jazz. So we don't actually have to generate that stuff ourselves. So now what we could do is we could take a request, which gives us a string back. We could pass that to data, and then we could use, so just create a var of IG user, which is an Instagram user. We could JSON dot unmarshal our data, which has to be a byte array. And then we can pass it our IG dot, our IG user. And then I believe we can do this, change this to this. And now I believe what we can do is we can set Tim to that. And now I can do log.println. Actually, we want to use, I'll just use fnt.sprint. Oops. Sprintf. I use s so we can use our name. Currently has, I don't know the data type. It might be, we'll use X for now. Followers. Oops, where did I even get that from? Okay. Tim dot, okay, let's go down the tree. What's it called? User gets called from GraphQL. So we want user dot GraphQL dot, oops, dot user dot followed by dot count. And we also want tim dot GraphQL dot user dot full name. Sprint. Oh, I wanted printf, not sprintf. That's why. Okay, we don't want X, obviously. I believe D should work. There we go. Tim the Cole currently has 245 followers. So we switch this to Wes Bos. Wes Bos currently has 19,272 followers. Nice. Go follow Wes, by the way. So we got this working. So obviously it's a lot faster than just crawling the entire page every time. So we don't think, based on what we've seen, I don't think that this token here changes often, just because it does use the user agent. I could be mistaken though, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't change often. So what we could do is we can make a var of users, which will make a string array. So we'll just take Wes Bos, modest Tim, social blade. Who else should I take? Just do Instagram themselves. So now what we could do is we could, for this, obviously, first one is index, second one is user. So we could arrange over our users, move this, move this up here. Just change this to you. Don't need everybody to be called Tim. So we can go through and get everybody one by one, which of course is going to be slow. Or what we could do is we could make a wait group, and we could use sync.waitGroup. We do wait group dot wait here. Then we can do go func. We can do function, put the stuff in the function, run that. We could just do wait group dot done here. Tell us that tell our wait group that we're done. Then here we'll do wait group dot add. So basically what this does, if you're not familiar with Go, is the variable capture in a function literal. What? Oh, so we need to pass in our user, of course, because our user will change all the time. So if you don't know what Go routines are in Go, basically it's allowing things to run in concurrency. So if we just fire all these off, they'll all spawn on their own threads, but since the main thread's done, since they're off going by threads, by the way, not actual threads, so it'll just quit because it doesn't know that things are running separately, just because the main thread will finish. So this will run things in concurrency, so we don't have to wait one after the other. So we should be able to boom and get things a lot quicker. So it's just a fun little hacky way to get this working, I guess. I just wanted to see if we could, and for the most part, it looks like we were able to. Yeah, go watch Wes Bos video. Go follow Wes on all our social media, and go listen to syntax.fm. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.